Hey everybody, welcome to part 2. So we just had our overview and now we're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of going out and getting those signatures that we were talking about. There's kind of two sections to part 2. The first section is how we're going to organize the signature gathering and how we're going to communicate with our communities. And the second part is taking a detailed look at the petition forms that we're going to be using. So that everybody knows how to handle them and how to format things right. It's pretty easy. There aren't a lot of rules, but there are some key rules, and they're strict about them, unfortunately. These petition forms are going to the Secretary of State's office ultimately, and if they see any formatting stuff that they don't like, they're going to chuck them in the trash. So thanks for watching to the end of this video so that you can know how to handle your petition forms in a way that's going to make sure your signatures get counted and your hard work doesn't go to waste. Like I said, it's not hard. It's kind of like nursing documentation. There's a couple key rules you need to follow and a couple things you need to know. And if you follow those rules, you'll be all set. Okay, so before we do that, let's talk a little bit about how we're actually going to do this. First, I'll tell you how we're going to do it at UMass Boston. So, we set some tabling dates over the next 3 weeks. We came up with some potential ones, and we put them on a clipboard, and we explained the project in our general meeting. And then we passed that clipboard around and we had people sign up for dates that they were interested in. There were some dates that people didn't sign up for, so we checked those dates, and in the end, we ended up coming up with a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule. Different configurations of our membership are going to get together in the campus center on those days over the next 3 weeks. We're going to have snacks, we're going to have fun, we're going to say hello and connect with each other. And then we're going to sort of go forth out into the student community in our campus center, and we're going to ask our peers on campus to support us in this project. But it can look different on your campus. Like I said before, this part of why we picked this project is because it's really easily scaled to the capacities of your organization. Maybe you just have a couple core members who are committed to this project and excited about it. So you guys can, if there's 3 or 4 of you, you can communicate on your own to figure out when are we going to meet up and go do this together. Or maybe there's just a couple individuals who are going to be doing their work separately on their own. Maybe you're not feeling up for asking strangers. That's okay, though I would strongly encourage it. It's pretty fun. But maybe you're just planning on asking your close friends and family to support you and to sign your petition forms. And that's fine. Like I said, 30 minutes of your time or dozens of hours of your time. Every contribution counts here. So let's say that you are going to go ask your wide peer community, the student community on your campus, to support this project. How are you going to do that? What does that look like? Maybe you've gone and you've gotten signatures for a project like this before. Maybe you haven't. You might be a little nervous the first time you approach a stranger and ask them to sign your petition form. That is normal. Don't worry about it. If you have a conversation about this project, and the conversation, if you feel like it doesn't go well, or if they don't sign it, or if they tell you that they think the project is a terrible idea, then you'll have a completely different interaction with the next person you talk to. So don't be scared and don't take it personally, and remember to have a good time. One of the most important things to remember when you're doing a project like this is to have a strong opening. So an opening that happens to be effective on my particular campus is, hey, do you know that your student fees went up 6% this year? And then pause and let them answer. And almost everybody wants to have a conversation with you after you say that at UMass Boston. So that's a great start at my campus. Your campus, maybe your student fees didn't go up 6%. You're going to have to come up with your own opening. Make it particular to your campus if you want. If you're at a privately funded university, and if this campaign is not going to directly affect the cost of your education, say something like, "Hey, can you support nursing students with a community project?" Or do you have 10 seconds to help nursing students on this campus with a community project? Try a couple different lines. See how people respond to them. There are some suggestions here in your packet. You probably have one of these kits. If you don't, we have electronic versions. We can get them to you. If your kit is in a different order than this example one I have here, don't worry about it. Some of the pages are in a different order. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, there are some strong examples of opening lines to use in this kit. Then once you've got your friend engaged, your new friend engaged, then you explain the point of the project. You say, we're trying to raise an extra $1 billion in public revenue for public education and transportation. We're going to do that by passing a constitutional amendment that would institute an additional 4% income tax only on millionaires, only on people who earn $1 million or more per year. We're doing this in partnership with our nursing student network, the Massachusetts Student Nurses Association. Would you like to sign? And they'll probably say yes. I found that most people do. Now we get to part 2, which is, how do they sign? What are the rules and logistics associated with having a person sign this petition form for you? So we're going to go through them one at a time. The first thing is, unfortunate as it is, only folks who are registered to vote in Massachusetts can sign your petition form. I personally think that that's too bad. I think everybody's voice should count on issues like this, but the Secretary of State won't count the signature unless they're registered to vote in Massachusetts. Because we're college students, we're going to run into a lot of folks who are not yet registered to vote, but could be. So you're going to have these, which are in your kit. You can cut them up and give them one of these slips. And if they're not registered to vote, say, hey, can you do it on your smartphone right now? You just have to go to this link and you just sign up, and maybe they'll do it for you. Or if they're in a rush, say, hey, we'll take this and register to vote, and maybe I'll run into you again on campus and you can sign later. So try to get them registered if possible. If they can't register to vote for some reason, which is true for a lot of people because of their age or their citizenship status or their documentation, just say, I wish I could let you sign. Do you wanna help with this project in some other way? I'm going to be out here doing this again next week. Let them know that there are ways that they can participate, even if they're not a registered voter. All right, so that's number 1. We're signing up registered voters. Number 2. Take a look at this form. This is my good example form. This is a form that's filled out correctly. You'll notice right here that it says Boston at the bottom. So you need a separate sheet for voters from each town. For people who are registered to vote in Boston, they're all signing your Boston sheet. If you meet someone from Cambridge, you need to start a new sheet and write Cambridge at the bottom. If you have people from different municipalities mixed up on the same sheet, the sheet gets chucked in the trash. So watch out for that. What else is true about these forms? The signatures need to be legible. So as you hand your person the clipboard, say, thank you for writing legibly. We need to be able to read your name in order to count your signature. And if it's too late, and they wrote, so here's my name up here, beautifully written, very legible, that's not my real address. And If they do write their name illegibly, as Florence Nightingale did here, she has a terrible scrawl, then ask them to reprint their name legibly on the same line that they wrote their signature. Here we have an example. Okay, so here we have Gregory Greggs. He was signing the form and filling out his address over here, and then he realized that he doesn't live at that address anymore. That's his old address. So instead of crossing out that line, don't cross anything out, have Gregory rewrite his signature on the line right underneath, and don't worry about the one above it. So we just need their name and their street address. Their town is already down here. There's a little area here where it's asking for their voting ward and precinct. If they don't know that, don't worry about it. They don't actually have to fill that out. They can skip that part. So legible name, legible address, reprint the name on the same line if the name is illegible or if anything's illegible. Don't cross anything out. Just rewrite it on the line below. Don't mix up towns. All the Boston people on one sheet, all the Cambridge people on the other, all the Falmouth people on another sheet. And make sure that this page is free of any additional marks. It might be tempting. Okay, I'm going to show you my bad example petition sheet now. It might be tempting to highlight something. Like here I've highlighted that this is a project that's about raising revenue for public education because I want people to know that when they look at the clipboard. Don't highlight it. They'll throw out your sheet. Beware. Make sure that you hand people a pen that works. Because if you hand them a pen that doesn't work, they might try to warm it up down here on a corner of your sheet. And they're going to throw your sheet in the garbage. Don't put your coffee cup down on your petition form. Make sure that everything's clean, and it's kind of like your Scantron. You're taking an exam. You don't want anything extra on it. So here's some extra bad examples here. So I think this was Florence Nightingale again. She wrote her name really illegibly, and I didn't catch it, and I didn't ask her to rewrite it, and now I don't know who signed it. Here's Gregory Greggs. He crossed out his bad address. That sheet's going in the garbage. Here's Veranda Porch. She is from Somerville, but she signed the Boston sheet. Oh no. So anyway, you get the gist. Just follow these rules and you'll be okay. All right. We're going to stop one more time.